he would be 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the earth. Hi. Okay, I don't know where this has come from or how long it's been going. I was contacted about a year or so back by some guy. He picked up my contact details off a Fellowship Finder website. It was a map of the world which you could put down your location and contact details for fellow believers to get in contact with you if looking for people nearby. Anyway, this guy got my details and he contacted me, and he was an Hebraic believer. He kept the feasts, etc., etc., the Sabbath, and we believed the same sort of stuff. And anyway, we communicated for a while. Then I didn't hear anything for several months until about a week ago, and it was Passover, and he was, we just sent a message about Passover and some information and blah blah. I don't know, can't remember. But I replied, and was really encouraged to hear from him, and shared a little bit about what had been going on in my area. And he lives near me, about 100 miles away from me. Well, that's where he's located on this map. And he posted me a reply, and it showed the resurrection timeline for the Messiah. Now, it very clearly says that Yeshua, the Messiah, stated that there would be only one sign given that he was the Messiah, and that would be the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he said, as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the fish, so the Son of Man, Yeshua, the Messiah, would be in the belly of the earth, in the heart of the earth, i.e. in the grave, for 3 days and 3 nights. Anyway, this guy, he showed a little timeline diagram and everything, and I had actually recently, a short while before, heard something similar to what he was saying. This timeline for the 3 days and 3 nights included the day of suffering that the Messiah went through, his scourging, his whipping, and his suffering on the cross. Now, that is not what the scripture says. He says that he would be 3 days and 3 nights in the earth. Now, as far as I'm aware, the Messiah's suffering, his beating up and his whipping and everything, and his suffering on the cross occurred above ground, not in the grave. Anyway, I mentioned this to him. I emailed him back and said, "Hey, come on, I think you're a little bit wrong here." And he hasn't been able to explain it. And I suggested my timeline and showed that he was, as he'd said correctly, died on the cross late on the Wednesday evening, and then you have the 3 days and 3 nights in the grave, brought him up to the end of the weekly Sabbath. Well, he emailed back, and apparently in the Hebrew, in Genesis chapter 1, where it talks about, and it was evening and the morning, the first day, second day, etc. Apparently, according to him, in the Hebrew, the word that's been translated as evening actually means morning. Okay, and I emailed him back saying, I don't think so. And he proceeded to email me some more explanations. Well, I don't know how many other of you people have come across this idea before, but basically what he's saying is that for the last 4,500 years, certainly since Abraham, every Hebrew has got it wrong. That they've been celebrating the Sabbath from evening to evening, i.e. sunset Friday to sunset Saturday, and they've been getting it wrong. For the last 4,500 years, they've been getting it wrong, because apparently they don't understand their own language, and therefore they've got the times wrong. Well, if you look up Nehemiah, chapter 13, verses 15 to 21, it's the situation where, after the rebuilding of Jerusalem after the exile to Babylon, it was found that traders were coming in just before sunset on the Friday, or just before the Sabbath, and setting up market, and on the Sabbath day the Jews were buying from the merchants, and Nehemiah had said, you mustn't do this, this is profaning the Lord's Sabbath. So he decreed that it says in verse 19, that as the shadows were getting long, or as the gates were darkening or coming into shade, i.e. it was approaching sunset on the Friday, that the gates should be shut and locked so that the traders couldn't come in. Then elsewhere it says in Leviticus chapter 23 verse 32, you will celebrate the Sabbath from sunset to sunset. It's very clear. Now, I don't know where this has come from, but we need to be very, very careful. There are a lot of things coming in these days, particularly in the times we're living in. Yeshua said to his disciples, take heed that no man deceive you. These are the times where deception and confusion are and going to be increasingly running riot. There is going to be attempts to confuse and trip up the body of believers. We must stick rigidly to the scriptures. Even in the Septuagint, the English translation of the Septuagint. Now the Septuagint was the translation into Greek of the Hebrew scriptures, the Tanakh, what we now call the Old Testament. Over the space of about 15 years, 70 plus Jewish scholars translated the Hebrew scriptures into Greek. It took them 15 years to do it. Now the English translation of the Greek Hebrew scriptures, the Septuagint, also says in Leviticus 23:32, from evening to evening. Be careful, folks. Take heed that no man deceives you. Okay, good night, shalom. That's brilliant. All right, that's all I've got to say. Cheers.